Hey everyone, so I thought in order to celebrate Father's Day, I would rank the top 6 worst cartoon dads in TV history. So before we head on in, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button and let's see if we can reach 10,000 subscribers before summer's over.
Oh, look who it is!
Caillou, you are drunk. Go to bed.
Go to hell, Daddy!
Boris is best known as the poor soul curse for being the father of one of the most infamous bald-headed menaces in cartoon history, Caillou. And if you've ever sat through an episode without losing faith in humanity, you already know where this is headed. If you remember the first video I made about Caillou, I pointed out that both parents tend to go for the style of authoritative parenting. Authoritative parenting is a style of parenting that combines warmth and responsibleness with clear boundaries and expectations. Although what I failed to mention is the obvious sign of permissive parenting that they use on him as well. Now look, I'm not saying Boris needed to go full medieval in Caillou, but maybe a firm voice or a slap on the hand could have done more than letting the kid scream like he's auditioning for The Exorcist. There are times where he'll be firm and set boundaries, like in Caillou Joins the Circus.
Caillou, stop all this racket. You woke up Rosie. I want you to come downstairs right now.
Even Caillou's daddy was starting to get angry.
And then there's times where he completely misses the mark, like in Caillou's Bad Dream and Big Brother Caillou. And while some might argue that children Caillou's age tend to be scared of the dark, and that toddlers tend to feel left out when a new sibling comes along, the fact that this happens multiple times and Caillou doesn't even get so much as a warning and only getting a light tap on the wrist for pinching a 2-day-old baby just ends up making Boris's parenting style feel confusing as hell. So for that reason, I'm placing Boris in C tier. While he does have his moments where he actually parents and holds Caillou accountable, those moments are overshadowed by how inconsistent, and sometimes completely ineffective, his discipline is. Boris can step up, but more often than not, he lets things slide or reacts in ways that don't really teach his son anything. This inconsistency creates confusion and fails to provide the stable guidance Caillou needs. Because of that, Boris lands right in the middle of the bad dad rankings. Not the worst, but definitely far from good.
Oh no, you got a cramp in your leg, didn't you? Here you go. I said you should do a warm-up, didn't I?
FBI, open up!
Now, it would be one thing if Thomas's dad were a pilot or held a demanding job that justified his limited screen time, but the fact that he's almost entirely absent from the hundreds of Thomas Daily episodes raises legitimate questions about his role within the family dynamic. And when he does appear, his presence is often marked by odd and arguably inappropriate behavior. Instead of taking on a parental role, he engages in activities like giving massages or playing horsey with his son. This feels like less innocent play and more like boundary testing behavior. In the context of a show aimed at children, these actions come across as unsettling rather than nurturing, given that his mom has already exposed herself for being one. More importantly, he consistently fails to discipline Thomas, even in situations that clearly call for it. In the episode Be Well Behaved in Restaurants, Thomas causes a major disturbance, yet his father makes little to no effort to intervene or correct his behavior. Similarly, in Getting Cramps in the Legs, Thomas refuses to warm up and behave rudely, but again, his father does not hold him accountable in any way.
Everybody know ain't no party like a Diddy party, so...
Honestly, based off VP Awesome's opinions on this man alongside 9-7 Potatoes' theory, I wouldn't be surprised if this dad were to be exposed as a pedophile sometime in the future. Going back to my first point, due to the lack of this dad's appearance throughout the show, it's no wonder why Thomas is the little screw-up he is. Maybe Thomas would have turned out as a better child if his dad were to actually scold him for abusing his sister on the regular and playing opposite day with his mom's orders. In general, Mr. Daly has earned this spot as a B-tier dad. He's clearly a bad dad, barely present, behave oddly when he does show up, and completely failing to discipline Thomas. His absence and lack of boundaries directly contribute to why Thomas acts out so much. But, controversially, he's not the absolute worst. There's no clear proof of outright abuse or malicious intent, which keeps him from being higher on the scale. Still, his neglect and failure to step up as a father have real consequences, and it's no surprise Thomas turned out the way he did. If you've seen my Norman Can Pay the Price videos, you'll notice that Mike is screwing way more than just pipes. When he's not being a dumb By not securing fireworks away from pyromaniacs, he's often prioritizing work over his own family, and when he is not working, he is frequently seen at the Whole Fish Cafe indulging in Bronwyn's cakes. But seriously though, Mike rarely appears to truly listen to his family. Whether it's his daughter asking him to cool the compost or his wife needing their car repaired, he often seems to put his own interests and distractions above their needs. Mike's also no stranger to messing up repairs, like the time he flooded the Joneses' basement trying to fix a leak. He also has a dangerous habit of careless firework use, even setting them off at sea, putting everyone at risk. However, despite all these flaws, Mike isn't actually a bad father. I know for a fact he cares about his daughter and makes genuine efforts to make it up to her when he can. And while he may not always think things through initially, he does try to patch things up with his family in the end, even if he'd clearly rather be spending time with the blondie who runs a massive bakery. So for these reasons, I'm placing Mike as a C-tier dad. While he consistently messes things up and fails to take basic safety seriously, he does show that he's a loving father who tries to do right by his family when it really matters. And honestly, he's probably the best father on this list compared to some others.
From now on, you will not leave this square, on the stool or not, or you'll be grounded for eternity.
Okay, Dad.
What's wrong with you? You a grown-ass man.
Alright, so what can I say about this man that I haven't said already? He's always punishing his son Coop for things that aren't even his fault. He never dives deep into the roots of the problem, nor does he let Coop explain his side of the story. He's blamed Coop so many times to where it's one of his instincts to chew Coop out when a problem occurs that wasn't even his fault. To make matters worse, he always favors Millie and never punishes her for any damn thing. He's allowed her daughter to brainwash him with her screaming and crying to where she basically controls him with her demands. He never listens nor cares to hear the truth out of Coop about their cat and doesn't try to stand up for his son when he gets accused by others. He's absent-minded to the hell that cat causes to his son and never puts his foot down to stop him. Also, even when he sees that some problems aren't Coop's fault, he never tries to figure out who's responsible for those problems and blames it on his poor son. Cause like I said before, he's blamed Coop so much to where Coop is the default setting for punishing. Overall, I feel it's reasonable to place Bert as a C-tier bad parent. Despite his lack of awareness and faith for his son, he does care about him and unlike to certain people, doesn't starve his son. He isn't ranked any higher because while he messes up a lot, his mistakes aren't as extreme or as harmful as the worst parents out there. He's neglectful and unfair, but at least he shows some care and doesn't completely abandon or abuse his son. That said, his favoritism and failure to protect Coop from Cat's chaos still make him far from a good dad.
Henry!
Silly Simon is essentially a stripped-down version of Fuming Francesca, but that doesn't make him significantly better. I mean, what kind of father lets his wife take their son's breakfast and then eats it right in front of him? Then again, she sent Henry to bed twice without dinner, so it's not entirely surprising. Looking at the comparison, they both approach parenting very differently, but Simon mostly shuts down Henry's interest. Like when Henry wants to go to a Killer Boy Rats concert.
School now! Dad, if you think we're taking you to see that horrid band, you can think again, Henry.
Yet Simon aggressively imposes his own taste in good music on Henry.
What's that?
That is proper music, which you are going to listen to, or else.
Or else what?
Or else I won't do your homework.
Much like Francesca, he always sides with Peter and never allows Henry to share his side of the story, regardless of who's at fault. It even goes so far as Simon calling Henry a disgrace to the family.
How could you be so horrid, Henry? You've disgraced the entire family and you've made your brother look like a complete idiot.
And somehow this man is considered a father? He does absolutely nothing to support his son with the struggles he faces. Take for example, when they found out Henry was having difficulties at school, they never once sat down with Henry to understand what was going on. Instead, their attempts to correct Henry were carried out in a harsh and unsympathetic manner. Fortunately though, they do end up getting their just desserts towards the end. And you know it's bad when even the school recommends you taking a parenting course. Now Simon does have his moments where he is seen as a nice, loving, gentle father, and at least with Simon, he actually starts to be nicer to Henry in the later seasons. So overall, I feel like placing Simon as a B-tier dad is pretty fair. Even though he's basically a carbon copy of Fuming Francesca, at least he occasionally makes an effort to be kinder to Henry and has shown genuine attempts to improve since season 4.
You mean you don't love me anymore, Daddy?
You know Daddy loves you more than anything, sweetheart.
So you're not gonna punish me?
Of course not.
Alright, so we've reached the final boss of the worst cartoon dads on this list, and I think the spot should go to nobody else than Drew Pickles. I'm not even kidding you when I say this father wouldn't know the word discipline if it kicked him in the balls. He rarely disciplines his daughter Angelica and constantly spoils her with everything she wants, which is mostly the reason why she's turned out like the demonic blondie she has become. He's let her manipulate him so much to where he believes that if he doesn't give in to her every command, that she'll stop loving him. When he does discipline his daughter Angelica, his efforts are ineffective and lack consistency. On top of that, Drew is emotionally and physically absent. He's often distracted by work or other things and doesn't invest the time or attention Angelica needs. Because of this neglect, she's allowed to behave badly without any meaningful consequences, which only reinforces her entitlement and selfishness. Ultimately, Drew Pickles demonstrates a fundamental misunderstanding of parenting. True love isn't about spoiling a child or avoiding confrontation. It's about setting limits and teaching responsibility. Without that, children don't learn respect or self-control. For all these reasons, Drew Pickles earns an unquestionable A-tier ranking on this list. He's not just a bad dad because he spoils Angelica, he's a bad dad because he abdicates his responsibility to guide, protect, and discipline his child. His failure to do so has lasting consequences not only for Angelica, but for everyone else around her.
Meg, your mother made soup for you. There you go, honey.
Oh, God, Meg, you startled me.
Oh my God, the treasure's in the casket. Come on, Meg, let's get it. My treasure.
Chris Griffin, will you marry me?
What?
The king was desperate.
Princess, the king is sad.
Okay then, you can play without me.
Oh boy, what is Mommy going to say now?
It's all the doggy's fault.
Princess, you've watched enough cartoons now. Go play outside.
In a minute, Daddy. This is my favorite cartoon.
Come, Princess, let's go for a walk.
Oh, I don't have time for that. I haven't watched them all yet.
The next time that you come in and wake us up, little brown bear, I will lose my temper.
Oh no!
What's going on here, little bear?
I wanted to surprise you, so I started to make breakfast for us all, and then I...
Oh, it's nothing, little bear. It doesn't matter. You go and see Mommy. I'll take care of all this. Whoa!
Put me down! Put me down! You can't see me anymore! I've turned the light off!
Now I'm starting to get angry, little bear.